Fertilizers have empowered many countries to grow, and in some cases become world superpowers, with nearly all of their citizens well fed and facing little food insecurity. Seems like Morocco has got an abundant resource required for fertilizers, which might allow it to have its control over the rest of the world. How? Curious to know? Let's find out. Welcome back to the Middle East North Africa map, everyone. Join us as we dive into everything you need to know about how Morocco controls the United States, China, India, and the world. Morocco formally recognized the United States in 1786 by signing a treaty of peace and friendship, which remains the longest unbroken relationship in American history. Full diplomatic relations were established in 1905. Morocco was a French protectorate from 1912 to 1956. And normal diplomatic relations resumed after the United States recognized Moroccan independence in 1956. The two countries have a long history of bilateral and regional cooperation. Morocco and the United States share common concerns and work closely together on security, political, and economic issues, as well as long-term development. Morocco was designated a major non-NATO ally by the United States in 2004, and the United States and Moroccan militaries conduct joint exercises and training. Morocco is a strong partner in counter-terrorism efforts and collaborates closely with the US law enforcement to protect the national security interests of both countries. The United States and Morocco work together to promote regional stability and security. For example, through the Global Counter-Terrorism Forum and the Global Coalition to Defeat ISIS. The United States' assistance to Morocco strengthens the Moroccan government's ability to promote security and prevent terrorist acts while addressing root causes of instability, such as political and social marginalization. According to the United States Geological Survey, we currently have 260 years of phosphate left in the earth, assuming no population growth. And assuming population growth continues at the current rate, we just have over 100 years of phosphate left in the earth. However, those are just estimates. The number could be much lower or much higher, and we really don't need to know when the world will run out of phosphate because we are already seeing shortages in countries implementing drastic economic policies to protect their own phosphate. Phosphate prices, for example, have risen by roughly 80% since early 2020. China banned the export of any of its own phosphate in September 2021, hoping to ensure that it had enough phosphate to produce enough fertilizer to grow its own food for the foreseeable future. But there is one key aspect that we have left out until now, and that is, you see, China has the second largest phosphate reserves in the world, owning roughly 5% of the world's phosphates. And keep in mind that it is the second on this list, and it is already concerned about its phosphate supply. Syria has the third largest amount of phosphate at 3%. Algeria is next at just under 3%, and the rest of the world has only 2% or less. Morocco owns a whopping 70% of the world's phosphate. Think about that for a second. One nation owns 70% of a resource that can determine which other nations can feed their populations. Indeed, over the next several decades, the world's food supply may become more dependent on whom Morocco chooses to trade with or not trade with. Or perhaps Morocco will simply sell the phosphate to the highest bidder. There is also the possibility of international conflict or cooperation, as has been seen throughout history with any valuable resource. And this would not be the first time that wars or partnerships have been formed to acquire fertilizers. Indeed, large populous countries such as India, Mexico, and Brazil are becoming increasingly reliant on Moroccan phosphate for their agricultural industries, while other countries such as the United States have imposed tariffs on Moroccan phosphate and are moving in the opposite direction. It is worth noting that peak phosphorus, as some refer to this situation, may not occur as soon as we think. As previously stated, estimates range from significant shortages occurring relatively soon to shortages occurring several hundred years from now. However, this peak phosphorus mentality is very similar to what people said about oil in the 1950s, because many scientists assumed that oil production and reserves would peak around 1970. However, the world has discovered significantly more oil than in places such as Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, Norway, Iran, and China. There were also technological innovations for oil, such as fracking, which allowed the extraction of oil in deposits that were previously thought to be unextractable due to the difficulty of, well, extracting the oil. The United States' education and economic growth assistance programs aim to increase productivity and access to economic opportunity. Our assistance has a positive impact in both the Middle East and Africa, bolstering Morocco's emergence as a major partner in regional stabilization efforts. USAID, the Middle East Partnership Initiative, and the Millennium Challenge Corporation collaborate with Morocco to strengthen economic ties and promote good governance. USAID is collaborating with Morocco to improve primary education and career preparation, as well as to support civil society initiatives that address the needs of marginalized youth and to increase citizen participation in governance. MEPI strengthens civil society by enabling civil society organizations to support women's empowerment, youth leadership, and volunteerism, increased civic engagement, entrepreneurship, skills training, and small business development. The Millennium Challenge Corporation is implementing its second $450 million compact with the Moroccan government to increase access to higher quality secondary education and workforce development programs, as well as to assist Morocco in increasing land productivity. The US works with Morocco on a variety of programs to improve the two countries' ability to collaborate on regional security issues such as counterterrorism and illicit trafficking. Foreign military financing helps Morocco's military modernize, and international military education and training improves US-Moroccan military interoperability. To support Morocco's reform agenda, the Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs collaborates with the National Police, the Penitentiary Administration, and the Judiciary. The Export Control and Related Border Security Program strengthens Morocco's ability to combat the spread of nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons, while anti-terrorism assistance builds on Moroccan expertise in crisis management, border security, and terrorism investigations. Morocco aspires to become a shipping, logistics, finance, assembly, and sales hub. More than 150 American companies do business in Morocco, primarily in renewable energy, infrastructure, aviation, and environmental technology. Morocco and the United States signed a free trade agreement in 2006. Moroccan exports to the United States have more than doubled, while US exports to Morocco have more than quadrupled. Moroccan exports to the United States increased from $446 million to $1.6 billion between 2005 and 2019. While US exports to Morocco increased from $481 million to $3.496 billion. The FTA has helped to improve Morocco's business climate, harmonize standards, and create legal guarantees for investors, paving the way for increased foreign direct investment. While Morocco's business environment has improved significantly, foreign companies continue to face challenges due to slow bureaucracy and a lack of judicial expediency. Morocco has strong ties with Europe and the United States. Morocco is a member of the United Nations, Arab League, Arab Maghreb Union, Organization of Islamic Cooperation, Non-Aligned Movement, and Sahel-Saharan States Community. The Al-Quds Committee of the OIC is chaired by King Mohammed VI. Morocco rejoined the African Union after a 33-year absence in January 2017. Morocco is a party to the Western Sahara conflict. Morocco claimed sovereignty over the region after Spain withdrew from its former colony there in 1975. All of this means that while it is predicted that rock phosphates will become significantly depleted over the next several decades, we cannot be certain. In addition, scientists have begun genetically engineering plants to absorb significantly more phosphorus in natural soil in order to avoid the use of fertilizers, with minor success so far. But at the end of the day, the entire world may rely on Morocco for its fertilizers, which has never happened before in human history. All of those old superpowers that controlled a large portion of the world's resources, such as the United States, did with oil over a century ago, the British Empire with metals in the early 19th century, the Dutch East India Company in the 1600s, or the Hudson's Bay Company in the late 1600s. All of those monopolies may pale in comparison to Morocco's phosphate and fertilizer monopoly. It is also worth noting that a portion of Morocco's phosphate reserves are currently in an occupation zone in Western Sahara, implying that a large portion of those deposits are already in a conflict zone, which could be a precursor to things to come. And with that being said, it's time to end our video. But before that, we'd like to know, what are your views about this? Let us know in the comments. Like this video and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more amazing videos like this. We'll see you in the next video.